Hello everyone, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So as you guys can see from the title, today we're doing my makeup use up, basically my yearly empties of 2019. This is actually my third year doing this. I'm very proud to say that because you guys know that I'm always joking that I'm not an official project planner, and this year I have officially accepted that title, even though I've been doing this now for a long time. So I have been tallying up my empties for the year for the last 2 years, and this will be my third year like I mentioned. This year I will have an overhead shot of all of my categories and share with you guys what exactly I used up. But before I get into any of these details, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alex. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of project pan. If that is something that interests you, subscribe, join us. And now without further ado, we're gonna get into the numbers. All right, like I mentioned, I will do overhead shots of everything that I have, and I will talk to you guys in detail of that. But before we get into there, I have some tips and things that I want to preface it and prep you guys before we see any of my empty. First and foremost, my main goal in 2019, starting in 2019, was to use more cream and liquid products. So you will see a lot of cream and liquid product empties in this year's yearly empties. Basically, my thing with dollar amounts, I know that there are individuals that like to tally up dollar amounts, and I know you guys like to see dollar amounts, so I did tally up my dollar amounts, but I do not set goals for dollar amounts. I don't find it fair, like a fair playing field for those that only buy drugstore, because I have proven in the last 2 years that if I solely use inexpensive products, I do not use up as much as if I use my high-end makeup. Even some individuals commented last year in my yearly empties stating that they saw that I used up a lot, but the cost amount wasn't a lot. So you keep that in mind whenever you see yearly empties, that the dollar amount shouldn't be that significant, because it all depends on what you use up. If you're using up a $65 foundation, that's going to hike up your yearly end amount versus a $10 foundation. So I did tally up my dollar amounts, but I don't set a goal for dollar amounts because, again, I don't find it to be fair throughout the playing field. However, I did set a product amount that I did want to use up. My goal for 2019 was to use at least 50 products up. So we're going to see if we met that. I did also calculate the amount for the minis. I've done it the last 2 years, and I was going to be lazy this year and just slap on a $5 amount for all of my minis. But because I did it correct the last few years, I legit looked up the product, saw the amount, and actually calculated what the size that I had, what it actually would be for retail price. So I did actually sit down and calculate everything. So this has taken me about 3 to 4 days to do. In my yearly empties, you will not see anything but makeup. I have kept it that way since day one, and I will continue to keep it that way going forward. That means you will not see anything for hair care, body care, skin care, tools, which include sponges, eyelashes. I do not include that. The main thing for me is to bring down my numbers of my makeup categories. Everything else for me, I do not have an abundance of, if I don't have any, to be honest with you guys. So I don't feel the need to include that in my yearly empty, so I never do. It's strictly just makeup. Another thing that I have noticed as I've been going through my categories, I've noticed that a lot of my categories are dwindling down, and I am left with things that are harder to pan, that'll take a lot longer to pan. So it might be in another year or so where you're gonna see a lot less empties, because it's gonna take me a lot longer to pan certain things. So my numbers may be high from the last 2 years, maybe this year, next year, but maybe in the future you may not see my empties as high because of the fact that I'm not bringing in a lot, and the things that I'm using up are taking me a lot longer. So you also have to consider that whenever you see yearly empties. The last thing I want to bring up is the fact that I do wear makeup about 6 to 7 times a week. I enjoy it. It is not a chore. I don't force myself so then I can see progress in my product. It's just something that I enjoy doing. It is a therapy to me. I love washing my brushes as well. So I know a lot of people don't like doing that. I personally like washing my brushes. To me, it's therapy. It's my time. I don't have to share it with anyone. I don't have to attend anyone for it. It's just my time. So for me, wearing makeup 6 to 7 times, it's fun for me. I like playing around with color, mixing things up, and that's how I've been able to use up a lot of my products. So if you're not using makeup often, you're not going to see usage as quickly as others have. All right, so those are the tips I wanted to share with you guys, and now we're going to move on to the portion where you're going to see each and every category, and I will give you explanations and how much of each category I have used up. So let's start out with primer. So these are all the primers that I used up this year. First, we have the Hourglass Mineral Veil. This was nice, but I've found better so far. I used up 2 of the Makeup Forever Step 1. These are the old packaging. I believe they have redone these again. I don't know if I have any more. I think I have one more of this one left in my collection. Then we did this Too Faced Hangover Replenishing Face Primer. I don't even remember how it was, to be honest with you. It might have been hydrating, but nothing where it really blew me away. Here is the NARS Pore and Shine Control Primer. This is by far my favorite primer and the one that I will be purchasing if I ever get through primers, unless I find something better, but I really love this one the best so far. Then we have this YSL Touche Éclat Blur Primer. This was really nice. It was very hydrating. It made my skin look nice under my foundations, but I think it's too expensive for what it is, so I wouldn't buy a full size of this. Unless I got another sample size, it's okay. And then the last one I used up is Estee Lauder, the smoothing one. Yeah, it was just your typical silicone primer. I wouldn't pay an arm and leg for that either. So this year I ended up using up 7 primers. Now here we go with foundations. This year I used up 4 foundations. 3 out of 4 were already used. I had some usage on it. 1 was brand new. So in reality, I had a little help in 2018. So the first one that I have is my Revlon Color Stay. This one is my winter shade in Warm Golden. I really like this one. I'm currently using my second bottle that I have left in my collection. If I don't find any foundations that I want to try, I will always go back to this one. I really enjoy it. I think I'm going to try the normal to dry and see if that's any different from the combination to oil. If it's not as drying or as mattifying. Maybe it's a demi matte, I'd appreciate it. This is my IT Cosmetics CC one. I love this one. I have one more in my collection, the last one that I haven't used. This was a medium, so this is my summer shade. They have expanded the shades in this one. I love this one as well. This is one of my high-end one. These 2 are my go-to. So here's my drugstore go-to. Here is my high-end go-to. And if I don't find anything, again, these are the only 2 that I will always have in my collection. The last 2 are these L'Oreal Infallible Pro Mattes. I had the 104, which was my winter shade, and 106, which was my summer shade. I could go down to 103 in the winter, but I didn't have it at the time. These were nice when I first bought them, but now that my skin has gotten better with skincare and I've understood my skin a lot better and been able to use skincare to help with my oiliness, these are too drying for me. I feel like, not drying, I shouldn't say that. It's more mattifying. It's very flat and I don't like that look anymore. So for that reason, I will not be buying these. And I think when I looked these up, these are being discontinued. I saw that these were on sale and I didn't really see these anywhere else. So I think these are being discontinued. If you're looking for a oil control foundation, I think this one's really good. But for me, I don't like these anymore. So I would not purchase these. So in total, I used up 4 foundations. So here are all the powders that I used up this year. We'll start out with this Becca one. This is the Hydro Mist Set and Refresh powder. I did not find that this was worth the money. This has a gimmicky thing to it. Honestly, you guys, don't spend the money unless you really like it. It's just your typical powder. It's very finely milled. It's nice, but not something that I would actually spend my money on. I got this in BoxyCharm. I'm glad I used it up and I was able to try out that cooling effect. But to be honest with you, I don't see it to be something that's one thing that I like in a powder, so I don't care for it. This is the original RCMA No Color Powder. I use this whole thing up. Bear in mind, I have had this for a long time, so this has been used for quite a while. This is not all used up in 1 year. I multitask this. I would use this as a dry shampoo, setting powder. However I could use this powder is how I ended up using it in my makeup kit when I would do makeup. This is okay. I find that I never really reach for this unless I force myself, so I'm not going to buy this again. I think it's good for those that are on a budget and want a lot and can't afford to buy high-end or powders that are going to run out quickly because you go through it quickly. I think that's a good one to invest in because it's not that expensive and you're getting a ton of product. Packaging, like everyone says, is a pain, but just save these to be able to add it in there. That's what I do. This is the Cargo HD Picture Perfect Translucent Powder. I loved this one. This one really made my skin look flawless. It really did look like I had a filter on my face. I enjoyed this a ton. but I saw that Kohl's is now having this on sale, so I have a feeling they're discontinuing this. I did have a pressed version. I sold that. I prefer the loose version more than the press because I can control it, but it was such a beautiful powder. Absolutely loved it. I used up these two minis from Kat Von D. I wanted to get these out of my collection. This is the translucent ones. I got these in a Point Perk or something, and I put these two together in a container like this, where I just keep these to reuse and repurpose. I thought this was way too drying. If I had oily, super oily skin, I would have liked it because other than that, it was fine. It's just that these are way too drying for me right now. I don't need this much mattifying in my life because, again, I have been able to control my oiliness through skincare. So I would not buy these. Even if I was supporting her, I still wouldn't purchase these. Last but not least, I threw away the original container, so I kept this. This is something that I'm going to wash and put back in my collection. But I ended up putting in here the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I had a very mini size, and I poured it in here to use up because that mini size you could only put an eye brush in there. That's how tiny the holes were. So I put it in here, I used it up. I like that one. I have a full size and a travel size, so I do enjoy that one a ton. I don't know if I like it under my eyes, but I do like it all over my face. So this year, I ended up using 6 powders, which is actually pretty darn good for them all being loose. Here are all of my correctors and my concealers for the year. So let's start out with the 2 correctors. This is also a corrector concealer, so it's kind of like both. First off, this is the Becca, what is this one? The Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. I thought this was nice for those that have a cooler undertone. Because I have a neutral to warm undertone in the summer, I like the fact that it was brightening, but that's about it. It did not really camouflage my dark circles in my inner corner, so I'm not going to buy this again. It was nice while it lasted, very emollient for my under eyes. I wish they would have made this in different shades because it only comes in one shade, but I got to use it up, so I now know not to buy that. This is my Eve Pearl Duo Salmon Concealer. This is the second one I've used, and honestly, I forgot that I had this one that I use this. It comes with a regular concealer and then a corrector. This corrector is amazing as well as a concealer. The consistency of this is amazing. The color was perfect for me. Again, this was my second one that I've used, but this sucker is super expensive. I believe full price is $40. And it's expensive. You don't need a lot, so it lasts you a long time. Like this lasted me a long time. I mainly used this in 2018, finished it up in 2019. So I have already repurchased this once, but I think I'm not going to repurchase it again just because it's so expensive. I can find other dupes for it that are a lot less. Then we have my MAC Pro Longwear. So I know that you're not supposed to write on these. Little tip that I would share with you guys is put a piece of tape on here so then you can mark where you're at and then throw it away and it's nice and clean. That's what I do with all of my MAC products or any products that the actual little tallies wear off. I just put a piece of tape on there. So that's a little tip just in case you guys are wondering. So this is my Holy Grail concealers. You guys could see I used every bit I could possibly use on this sucker. This is the NC20, so this is more of the pink version, pink undertone version of my skin tone. So it brightened up, but not where it was excessively brightening. I like it. I really, really do. So I'm happy that I could put this back to MAC. So I will be putting this in my back to MAC. So I'm working on my last one right now. This is a deluxe sample size with a shark. The Shape Tape from Tarte. Holy moly, could they have not made something worse? I don't like this. Too drying, too heavy, too much. That's my thoughts on this. Last one was this Clinique Beyond Perfecting Super Concealer. This I thought was very comparable to my MAC one. They both had a very similar texture, formula, way of applying. I think that these are very, very comparable. If anything, they're almost dupes of one another. And I'm tempted to purchase this. I'm just going to see the price per ounce because I'm going to use the whole thing up. So I'm going to see which one's a better value for my money. But these two have been my favorite concealers all year. I love this one and I genuinely like this one. I don't like the mechanism of the pump in this one. So I might like this one more. I don't know. We're going to go back and forth with these, but these two are by far my favorite. So in total, in 2019, I ended up using, I'm going to count these because there's 2 of them in here. So I did use 2. So it's like 2, 4, 6 concealers, correctors this year in total. All right, so here we are with the brows. So let's start off with the gel brows here. So I ended up using four. These two are deluxe sample sizes, but they actually came with a decent amount of product. It came with a little wand. So I have quite a few of these. I think these are my only two left that I have. So I did end up using these. These gave me at least like about 2 weeks max of product in there. I like these. I'm currently using this now, but I ended up using two of these. So if you ever get these deluxe sample size, try them out because it actually is worth it. Then this is the deluxe sample size. This is in the shade 3. This lasts forever. Oh my goodness. This deluxe sample size lasted me months. I'm currently using another one as we speak, and it's been lasting me a long time too. I like it. I do. I don't know if I would purchase this, to be honest with you guys, because this is tinted and I don't need a tinted brow product. I have enough brows, so I don't know if I would purchase that, but I do think that that's a good one if you're in the market for one of those. Here's the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper. This is about my third one that I've purchased in my lifetime. This lasted me a long time as well. I like the wand. I believe this is discontinued. Everything I'm using this year has been discontinued. It was a really good product. I did enjoy it. Obviously, I can't buy it again. So would I buy it again? Yes, this was probably my third tube of this, and I really did like it because it lasted me a very, very long time. The only two brow pencils I used up this year were the e.l.f. ones. This is the e.l.f. brow pencils in the shades Taupe. Because as you guys know, I'm currently trying to use up the It Cosmetics one, and it's been taking me forever. These were nice. I don't like the thickness of the pencil tip because my brows are already full. I can get out of hand with these, and I go through these rather quickly. If you're in a pinch, if you travel somewhere and you forgot your brow product, I think this is good, and it's okay for that time being. But for me to invest my money in these, I would waste more money in buying these all the time. I'd probably go through 4 to 5 of these a year. And if you compare that cost, what is that? $15 to $18 a year versus the It Cosmetics one, I'd pay for the It Cosmetics one and it will last me over a year. So for me and my usage, this isn't worth it, but I think this product itself is really good. So in total, I ended up using 6 brow products, 2 of them being pencils and 4 of them being brow gels. Let's move on to eyeliners. I only used up 2 eyeliners. This is the Makeup Forever XL eyeliner. This was a mini. I really liked this one. It lasted in my waterline. I liked it for my tight line. I wanted to use it up. That's as far as my sharpener would do. So this was a mini. And then this is my Mally one. I'm currently trying to use the chocolate version. This was the matte black one, and I love this formula. So I'm happy that I was able to use both of these up. These are the only 2 I was able to use up. These take a very, very long time, but I'm proud of myself to at least use 2. So it looks like my yearly usage for eyeliners is 2 if I stick to it. For bronzers, I ended up using 1 liquid bronzer. This is such a beautiful product. This is the It Cosmetics CC bronzer. I love this. I use this for 3 summers in a row, and unfortunately it has been discontinued. So I cannot repurchase this because I really wanted to repurchase this. I have 3 more cream bronzers in my collection, and after that, I guess that's it for me because this was my favorite, unless the other 3 that I have will become a favorite, but who knows if they're already discontinued at this point. But I love this one. I would have recommended this if you're looking for a cream bronzer, but unfortunately it has been discontinued. For the other powder bronzers, I used up 2 powder bronzers. This is the Pure Glow Together bronzer. This was a limited edition product, but I ended up hitting pan in 2018, and then in 2019 I used it all up. At this point, I have repurposed this packaging. I try to repurpose as much packaging as I can. So I made this into a Z palette where I am currently keeping some singles, as you guys can see. It works perfectly fine. Just buy magnetic sheets online or at your craft store, and then I repurpose this. So this is staying in my collection because I'm repurposing it as a travel Z palette or just a Z palette in general. I love the mirror of it, so that's why I kept it mainly. But this is my second one that I used up this year. And my last one is from my pan that face palette that I'm currently panning this year, so I'm covering up the blushes. This is the Sephora Los Cabos bronzer. I used this completely up in 2019. I hit pan in 2019 and finished it up in 2019. This was a really, really pretty bronzer. I have the full size of this, so I'm happy that I was able to use this one up and remembered how much I enjoyed that one. So in total this year, I ended up using 3 bronzers, and this one was pretty big, you guys. The other bronzers that I worked on in 2019, I've only made dips on because they're a lot harder, but I normally do more damage. My typical usage for bronzers is about 3 a year. So here are all the highlighters that I used up in 2019. These are all my cream and powder. I figured I'd put them all together. I ended up using 10 in total, you guys. I'm very proud of myself for this. I multitask this like crazy because I love using my cream and liquid highlighters in the whole, like mixing them up with my foundations or powders. And you guys know that starting in 2019, my goal was to use a lot more of my cream products. And that was what I wanted to do going forward. All of my cream products that included foundations, concealers, correctors, and I've done so well with that I'm also going to continue that in 2020 and going forward because I feel like the cream products go bad faster than powder. So here we have the Laura Geller Liquid Gelato Pillow Top Illuminator. I did not like the packaging of this. I pulled off the actual spongy thing that it had. I wasn't a fan of this, to be honest with you guys. I have found better. It wasn't my favorite. I would not buy this or recommend this. I've tried other things that are a lot better. This was the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. Lord have mercy, this is amazing and beautiful. I know some people are like, I have the full size. I'm so happy I do because I really love this one a ton. Loved this one, especially mixing it with foundations. It is the perfect illuminator without having to buy an illuminating primer. It's so beautiful. Loved it. This is the Wander lotion. It's okay. I remember liking it, but I didn't fall head over heels for it, so I'm happy that I did give that a shot. This Burberry Fresh Glow in Nude Radiance. I used up 3 samples, and this was another product where I fell head over heels for, just as much as this one, but this is a lot more expensive full size, so I would not buy that because it's way too expensive, and this is just as comparable. The color in Nude Radiance is amazing. If you're rich, if you have money to splurge, I would love that. It's so beautiful. I'd recommend it. This is the Stila All Over Shimmer Liquid Illuminator in Kitten. They have changed the packaging and they may have even discontinued this at this point. This was so beautiful all over my body, mixing it with my lotion. Amazing, you guys. Amazing. I will continue to do that technique going forward in the summer. It was just that perfect glow in the summer. So I loved it for that. Otherwise, it would have lasted me a lot longer, but I wanted to get use out of that. This is the Laura Geller Easy Illuminating Stick. This is in the shade Ballerina. I even took out as much as I could out of the actual packaging. This was beautiful. I loved it. I have 2 more of these in my collection, so I'm going to be so happy to use these up. It was literally easy. I'm not even joking. The name itself says it. It was easy to use, beautiful on the skin. It had no shimmer or glitter, and I appreciated that very much. Last cream one that I used was this MAC one in Luna, this cream color base. This was a white based. I love the formula of these. This is just like the Becca one or the Burberry, just that it's more of a cream instead of liquid. I have quite a few more in my collection, so I will be using more of these up this summer, or in general this year, I should say. And then I may or may not choose the one that I absolutely love. This one, this color Luna, was not my favorite. It was the white-based one. So if you're very, very fair, this would be perfect for you. So I can also back to MAC this one. Now we have our 2 powder ones that I used up. This is the Becca Mini in Opal. I used that baby up. It looks so beautiful all over my body in the summer. Love that. The packaging broke. That's why I have this rubber band on it, which I could take it off now because it's going to go in the trash. And last but not least, my accomplishment of the year is my Becca Moonstone. This was gifted to me by DREA in the holiday season of 2018, and I was able to pan this throughout 2019. It seemed like it was funny because 2019 was kind of, one of you guys had commented saying it was sponsored by DREA. Well, now 2020 will be sponsored by Lisa because I'm going to try to pan as much as I can that Lisa has gifted me. I have loved to use the things that my friends have given me and family, so that's what my goal is, also to use the things that were gifted to me and show appreciation appreciation for them doing that to me. So this was a gift from DREA. I'm so happy. I will not be throwing this away. I'm going to repurpose this. Anything that I need to repress that doesn't fit back into its container, or I have excess, or I want to just repress things that are loose, I will be using this container because it does have a mirror and I think the packaging is really nice. So I'm going to keep this to repurpose this. So again, in total, I used up 10 highlighting products this year. Now moving on to my eye primers. So this year I ended up using 5 eye primers. I'm going to count this as an eye primer because it does state on here it's an eyeshadow based primer, not so much a shadow stick. And that's how I ended up using it anyway. So first off was this Milani eye primer. You guys know this is my favorite, and once I'm done all of mine, this is the only one I'm going to be using in my collection. This is about 3 to 4 years old, so I did get use out of it. I'm very happy that I finally was able to use the whole thing up. This lasts you a lifetime. So if you buy this, this will last you a good 2 to 3 years. So enjoy it while you have it. I kind of miss it, but I'm happy to get use out of the rest of the ones that I do have. Then the Lorac behind the scenes. This is my favorite one if I'm going to pick a high-end one. And I have a ton of these deluxe sample sizes in my collection because they come in all Lorac eyeshadow palettes. I will be using more of these this year, so I'm very happy that I got to rediscover that one. This is the Urban Decay Primer Potion. This one is okay. I actually appreciate this one more than the Too Faced one. I have a few more left, but I would not be buying this again. It's just not my favorite. I prefer the Lorac or the Milani. Those two are my favorite. Too Faced Shadow Insurance, my least favorite one. I think I have the least amount of these in my collection left, but I'm going to get use out of all these and then be done with Too Faced and never buy that again or want it again. If I ever get these again, I'm just going to pass them along. Last but not least, this was my crowning accomplishment this year for this category. This is my Sigma eyeshadow primer base. You guys, I use this whole thing up. Took me 10 months to use this up, so now I know how long it takes to use up a shadow stick. Holy moly, this is going to take me forever with the collection that I have. So in total, I used up 5 this year, and I'm very proud of myself because in the past years, I got nowhere near this. All right, you guys, so here are my mascaras, and it looks like I've used 16. Let me double check. Yes, I have used 16 mascaras this year. This has gone up 2 every year because I like to layer my mascaras. So right now I'm layering 3 mascaras on my eyeballs. I just like them. If it doesn't work for me, I try to work with other ones and get the perfect type of lash that I have. So let me just run through real quickly the ones that I did like and did not like and which ones I would consider purchasing in the future. This is the Tarte Gifted one. Did not like. No, thank you. This is the Butter London. Oh my, how high. Butter London's mascaras are actually pretty darn good. Their wands are nice and volumizing. And I like a volumizing mascara, so I actually would consider this if I get that as a deluxe sample size. This is a Tarte Multi-Eye Primer. No, thank you. This is another Butter London, a Double Decker Lashes one. I really like this one as well. So yes, I like that one. My Maybelline Colossal Volume Express. This is the one that I'm going to stick with once I'm done everything. This is my all-time favorite. Love it. This Lancome one, the Monsieur Big. I love all Lancome mascaras. They're my favorite high-end ones. So yes, I would like that one. This is the MAC False Lash Extreme. Nah, I don't even remember that one. Dior Blackout. I like this one, but I wouldn't buy that because I think it's too much. This is the Lise Watier V Element Volcanic Mineral Mascara. I really like this one as well, but it's expensive and I would pass that along. No, thank you. This is the Bare Minerals Lash Domination Volumizing Mascara. This absolutely sucked. I don't like it. Thank God it is discontinued because it sucked. This is the Urban Decay Perversion one. I really like this one. I have a few left in my collection. I love this one. One of my favorites. I do like that one a ton. IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. This one, I like it if I work with it, but it's too much work for me to have, to be honest with you. I have one more full size, and after that, unless I get it as a gift, I will not be buying this because it's just too much to work with. This Makeup Forever Excessive Lash one, I don't even remember. Nope. Looks like I never liked it either, so no thank you. My Lancome Hypnose Drama, one of my favorites. I've used this for years. I love this one. I would purchase that if I could. And this one's the Tarte Opening Act Lash Primer. No thank you. Didn't like that either. This is another Dior Show Mascara. I like this one, but I wouldn't buy it. I can't even open it. I wouldn't buy it because it's just too expensive. So that's my rundown on my mascaras. I got a lot more to go, you guys. If I stick to the 16 average a year, I could get through my mascaras in another 2 years and just stick to the 1 or 2 that I really enjoy. So there you have it. That's my rundown of my mascaras. So here are my setting sprays. I ended up using 9 setting sprays this year. So we have 4 of the Mario Badescu. I have the Cucumber Melon, the Sage and Orange Blossom, and that's it. Those are the only 2 ones that I did try this year. I like these as point perks or as gift with purchases whenever. I've never actually purchased these by myself, like on my own. These always have been gifts with purchases. That's the only way I would keep it. I don't feel like it really does anything for what you're paying, but I do like it to just refresh my face. I don't think the ingredients are that great, so I wouldn't buy these, but if I get them as gifts, I'll use them. So I ended up using 4 of these, and I think I have maybe 1 or 2 left, if that. My Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Sprays, I love these. I'm probably going to keep these for travel, if anything, but I do like these. I ended up using 2 of these. I'm so happy I did. This is a Too Faced Hangover. This was a primer and setting spray. I didn't care for it. I really didn't care for it, so it is what it is. And then these last 2 were the MAC Fix Plus. This made me fall in love with MAC Fix Plus. I loved how my skin looked after this, and this had just enough for me to try it. And now I want to get the full size, but I have to work through my collection before I even bother to do that. If anything, I'll ask it for a gift, but I think it is really pretty. The hype is real, at least for me. I thought it looked great. At least for the winter time, I think it looks great all over the face for myself. So here are all the setting sprays I used for this year. You guys were dying to see this category. These are my lip liners. In total in 2019, I used up 7 lip liners. Very proud of myself for this one. So let's start off with the first one. This is the Jordana Rock and Rose. This was a really nice cool tone one. I think Jordana does great liners. For $2.50, they're worth it to me. I would probably purchase some of these in the future because I will always be a lip liner girl, so I'll always have some sort of lip liner in my collection. This is the Sephora Rouge Gel Lip Liners. I thought these were really pretty, but it was super emollient and thick. So if anything, these would be like a lipstick. So I don't know if these are worth it for me, but I'm glad I tried it. I think the formula is great. It's just I would run through these like water. So that's why I wouldn't purchase that. This is the Urban Decay one in Turn On, I believe. I didn't like the color too much, but I did like the formula because it lasted. And that's what I like in a lip liner because I use them so often. So I would purchase in the future. I would consider purchasing from this line. Just the color wasn't my favorite. This was the L'Oreal Color Rouge one. Oh, I don't know the color of this one. But as you guys can see, it is basically done. That's like the actual plastic in there. This was a beautiful formula. It's just that it was very hard to sharpen. It was kind of breaking my sharpener. So for that reason, I didn't like this one and I would not buy any more. This was a Stila lip liner in Patina. Very beautiful shade. I ended up using the whole thing up. They no longer make these, so I don't know what Stila has in their liners. So I would not purchase that again. This is the Milani. This is the last one I used up this year. This is the Milani one in all natural something. I don't know. Very beautiful shade. I really like it. The formula of this Milani one's really pretty. And for it being creamy, it didn't go as fast as I expected. So it was worth the money for me. Last but not least was Bite Beauty. This is in the number 36. They no longer make these. They're reformulating their whole entire line. I would not buy these. These go way too quickly for what you're paying. I think it is a gimmick. It's too expensive for how creamy and fast I went through this. So I would not buy that. So there you go. 7 in total. Let's see what I can do this year, guys. For lipsticks, you guys should know this. I only used up 2 mini lipsticks, which equals 1 full-size lipstick. I used up my Bite Beauty Honeycomb, which they're reformulating, so I don't know if it's going to be the same anymore. I really enjoyed this. This is like my favorite nude ever, but I have too many lipsticks, so I'm not repurchasing that. Same thing with this. These are very close. This is why I picked these 2 together for this year, because I knew it was basically the same shade. This is Marc Jacobs No Angel, even though I kept calling it Slow Burn all year. This was, again, basically the same shade as this one. So if I can't find this one, this is your dupe right here. Both of them are beautiful. Both of them are great formula. I just go through lipsticks so slowly, you guys, and I haven't bought some in so long, so I'm just going to use what I have, but I love these 2 shades. They were a joy to use, and I loved every minute of it, even though at the end it was becoming a chore. My only two lip glosses that I used this year were two minis. These are the Laura Mercier ones in Bare Naked and Bare Baby. This formula is amazing on these. I love this formula. I just have a lot of lip glosses. I have about 30 lip glosses in my collection, so I have to go through them before I consider the lip glosses that I want to keep and not go crazy on them. I would recommend these. I think they're a beautiful formula. They have really nice colors. I cannot rave about this formula enough. It's such a beautiful and underrated formula. So I love these. I'm happy I was able to use them without them going bad. All right, so now that we have officially seen what I have used up, I actually have gone up in almost every single category that I use on my face. So primers have gone up, foundations, powders, etc., etc., etc. Last year, I don't think there is not one number that I can see that I have gone down on. Everything I have used up, if not double, more than that, which makes me happy because it makes me see that I am using the things that I have and a lot less things are going bad in my collection. So in 2017, I used up 39 products. 2018, I used up 43 products. And in 2019, I used up 85 products, you guys. That was very, very shocking to me. I knew I had used at least 50, but I did not expect that I used that much. So I had gone up drastically from 2018 to 2019. So I met my goal of 50 products. Now I'm going to share with you guys the dollar amounts. 2017, I used up $414.06. In 2018, I used up $511.55. And in 2019, I used up $1,093.23. So not only did I double the amount of products that I used from 2018 to 2019, I also basically doubled the amount in the cost of it. So I'm very proud of myself. I met my goal of 50 products. I think since I used up 85 products in 2019, I think my goal for this year in 2020, I think I want to go for 95 products. I think I want to add 10 more. I don't want to overdo it and then force myself to use things in an abundance way because I don't like to pay in that way. I like to use my things naturally. So I'm very happy. I'm happy where I'm at. A few of my categories have gone to where I want them to be. And I think this year, continuing with the process that I am doing, I think I can get other categories down even more as long as I keep to it, as long as I stick to it and I don't bring in anything basically, which is my goal. I'm trying not to buy anything this year. I'm very, very specific if I'm going to bring anything in, but there's a lot of things that I am taking into consideration. So I don't think I'll be buying anything unless it is something that I absolutely need. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section if you have done anything like this in your own personal thing. If you don't do YouTube or Instagram, what numbers did you use up this year? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will put more videos right over here for your enjoyment. Until then, bye guys.